What's going on all you gamers? Today we're jumping back into some more Gotham Knights. What I'm going to be covering today is your power score and just understanding exactly what it's all about. So if you want to know if it's worth having the highest power you can, or if you should just go for a build that you really enjoy or you think's powerful, then stay tuned. That's coming up next. Welcome back everybody. Today we're going to be looking at a bit more Gotham Knights and I'm going to be jumping into the power score, what it actually entails, how you should be looking at, and if it's worth you trying to max out your power as high as possible or if you should just go for a more well-rounded build. Now first off, if you don't know what the power level is, then you're going to bop straight over to your gear, and when you click on things they're all going to have their own gear score, or power score should I say. As you can see here, currently the best one I've got for my suits is 897 with a modular cryogenic suit. Also down the bottom there it's got 4 slots. This means currently this will be by far the highest one that I can get if I was trying to boost my power all the way up. So for example, if I put in say 3 of these, so we're going to pop in 4 sorry. And now jump out, it's at 4,129. That's an absolutely massive jump, and it means if you had 3 things on like that, it would be over 12,000 gear score. What's this doing to your build? Is it worth it? And does it mean the higher that this number will be over on the right hand side for your power, the higher overall damage and such you'll do? Now I saw quite a few people trying to farm that modular gear and I thought I'd make a video on this in order to show them whether it's worth it or if you should just try to make your own build. Overall, there needed to be some kind of a baseline that I found in order to work things out. So if only we had some way to kind of hit the same enemy over and over again and form some kind of a baseline.
Wait a minute!
That's right, I could go outside and try to fight loads of enemies. That would be an absolute nightmare, and just keep punching them, then resetting and just doing it over and over again. But I found it a little bit tricky. So instead, we're going to bop all the way over to here, where we've got our very own training centre. Whatever you've got on, jump straight into this anyway. Now for this exercise, just so that I can show you, because I've already prepared it, because it took a little while to work out. Like I said, I've got the modular cryogenic suit on. What I'm aiming for is to show you without any kind of buffs and such, because if I've got loads of procs, loads of extra perks going on in my build, it's going to be really hard to show you a baseline. So instead, everything I've got on here doesn't affect an enemy unless I'm getting kills and knockdowns, things such as that, which where I am in the training centre, I'm not going to be getting that. So we shouldn't have any extra perks going on in that build, it's just going to be our power level and the gear we've got on going in there. So as you can see from the suit, this one only increases my elemental resistance for a short duration after dealing critical damage, so it's not going to boost my damage of sorts. For our melee, we've got direct hit Screamer sticks. These again, they do have quite high base damage over on the right hand side there, 926, but the actual perks are perfect with this. Increased momentum generation, and the next one is knocking out an enemy with a heavy melee attack, guarantees the next attack will be a critical hit, so neither of these two should really affect anything. Next up, just to make it nice and easy, I've chucked on a ranged linked darts. This is a level 9, I am using absolutely nothing on any of these. I'm going to take all of these off of this as well, if I can remember how to do it. So we're going to click that, uninstall them all, and now as you can see on the right hand side there, my power level is 1877. So all of these are just completely base, and I didn't show you the ranged, but as you can see, it's truly bad. It's one of your starting ones, level 9, doesn't matter, we're not going to be showing the damage for that too much, but I just wanted to show you how the actual power scaling works. The main thing we're going to be looking at will be the melee, because that's what I'm mainly going to be doing. And like I said, damage 926, so we need to kind of bear that in mind. Now there's quite a few that we could look at, but if I remember correctly, probably a nice easy one would be just the momentum one. As long as we're not using our momentum abilities, this one shouldn't end, and I can just show you how you can kind of easily work out your damage and such. This is just a great place to work out your overall builds, and what's better depending on what gear you've got on and such. So if we just go in, I'm probably going to get punched in the face a lot, but that was a crit, we don't want to crit. Right, so 874 is going to be our base punch, and I think the crit was, what was it, 1224? Come on fella. Our crit is really low. Well, we know 874 is going to be the base. Let's give it a second one. So 874 and 1224. That's ridiculously high for the power we've got, which kind of shows me already exactly what I thought, but I'm going to pop out and show you now. Right, so now exactly the same again. As you can see on the right hand side, our power is still 1877. I know if you're looking and you think there were some buffs going on in that last one, don't worry, anything that was going on was just a random buff that wouldn't affect our damage. I think that one of them was already built into our build, nothing I can do about that, it will stay the standard throughout. But now we're going to chuck everything on. Chuck all of that on, meaning we've got over 4000 on our modular cryogenic suit now. Then with the melee, exactly the same things we're going to be using, but we're just going to chuck on the mods to boost our power massively. Now what I am going to do with this one, just to show you, because if I put on these right here, increased elemental effect, it won't really help you in the slightest with this. We've got no elemental going on, so I'm going to chuck on this right here, which is going to be our increased critical damage. This will just, no matter what, it doesn't matter your power, it doesn't matter of anything, this is going to boost it whatever it says, so I'll show you straight away afterwards. Right, so I've chucked 3 in, as you can see here now, we've got 43%, and just over here 43%, giving us an entirety of 129% extra critical damage. Remember, it's the same weapon, it's still got 926, however now the damage will be higher because you're scaling it with that critical damage. But the crit chance is exactly the same, as we haven't added anything into the build. Right, so our power is 7533. Now remember, I was using this, which was my link darts at 73, which is just awful. Now I'm going to put on one of this, the cryogenic darts, and I'm going to show you that even with something like this on, I'm just going to make sure it hasn't got anything on it, so instantly gain momentum. Knocking out an enemy with a momentum isn't going to apply again, and knocking out an enemy, none of these buffs will apply in this build, so that's perfectly fine to put on. But now our power level is 10,783. If we were going to be doing more damage, we should be doing massive more damage, and don't forget we've also got the extra crit damage going on. So whereas before it was 874 and 1224 on a crit damage, now the crit damage will be much higher. However, let's see how our base damage is. Remember, we're on over 10,000 compared to 1,000 something, and we're doing 874. The only time it's going to be different will be with the crit damage, 2,351, because we've now got those crit mods on. I'm punching way too much. As you can see, 874, when I'm tapping it once, I'm getting a bit overzealous. 2,351, just because we've got those crit damage mods on. If I go in and completely take them all off, remember we're on 8,300 something there. Exactly the same again. One tap, 874. When it crits, 1224. Absolutely no difference whatsoever. Scaling in this is just an indicator. It's quite obvious really, because when you look at it, some of the things that have very low mods or no mods, even some of the heroics which have pretty much no added extras on them, give you exactly the same thing. So as you can tell, some of these do a bit more because I'm holding on to heavies and such, but just the standards, that's all we need to see. As soon as I do it, come on, 1224. Yeah, power scaling, absolutely nada, don't go for it, that's not what you're after. What you are after, now what you're going to be looking for first and foremost is probably going to be your rarity first. The reason for that, at the moment, the higher rarity, the best we've got currently is legendary, they have higher base stats. More damage, more conditional stats, usually probably a little bit more elemental resistance if you're going for that. And of course, if you look over on the right hand side as well, they've also got that grade. As you're fighting crime, as you're doing some of the outside world activities, they're going to go up and the power's going to scale even higher. Best I've seen currently is 2, and obviously when it's maxed out it's 2 of 2. But you're not just going to go for a legendary that looks pretty or has really nice base stats, even though that does help. What you're going to do, so if I take this for example, if I had a look here, this one's got really high damage. However, the perks and the actual overall, probably what it brings to the table, isn't going to be the best. So it's 1 of 1, meaning I can get better. The melee is going to be hit momentum, it's going to generate a little bit of extra momentum for me, and it's going to do a nice bit of heavy vengeance, so I'm going to get a crit hit. But there's no crit rate on this, and there's no crit damage. The stats on the right supersede pretty much everything. You're going to want something with nice base damage, as that's going to give you the most bang for your buck. Then you're going to look for something with either really nice high elemental, or something with nice high crit rate and crit damage. Also, alongside that, you're going to want something that's got the gear properties that you're after. Perfect example of that would be things such as this, anything that can give you extra damage. So for example, knockout multiplier just here, knocking out an enemy with a momentum ability grants double damage for the next attack. This can be ridiculously powerful. There's a lot of ways to get your momentum in this game, and being able to do things such as that definitely work in your favour. So the best thing to look at with this game, like I said, is going to be your perks, is going to be your stats over on the right hand side, and overall how many slots you've got on your gear pieces. If you're still out there and you're farming for these 4 slotters,
stop it, get some help.
For example, this right here, this gives me 4 slots. However, I really don't think they're worth it. They're mainly if you want to do some kind of a hybrid build or build your elemental damage up a little bit faster, but you lose out on too much damage. All of these, the base damage is very, very low, meaning they're probably not worth it. Also, the conditional stats, not the best. So I would say take these with a pinch of salt. Anyone who's telling you they're the best, along with the actual suit as well, it's probably because they think that you're going to have the most power, and overall that's going to help you out. Whereas it is just a guide. Take it as a guide, don't use it as gospel, because even if you bop down to these, I'm going to bop all the way down to the bottom. So here we have the overtime effect Eskrima sticks, as soon as I can speak properly. 1 gear slot, it's got a little bit of crit chance, a bit of crit damage, 573 damage, but it's giving me 835 power. This is just a base. Honestly, don't even worry about looking at that power level, it's not going to help you in the slightest overall. Get yourself some nice legendary gear, get yourself the stuff that's got the highest stats and can incorporate it into your build as much as you want. And then, like I said, jump into the training exercise right here, test out your damage, and you'll be able to see for yourself which builds work and which builds don't. Now, for anyone who's still there and thought, well, you didn't show us any abilities, if I go back in, the only thing is with this time I've taken off the mods for that so that we haven't got any extra damage going on with our crits. Level 40, 8,300 or something, and go over to this one just here. Just a standard 3,653, I think that was. Yep, 3,653. Absolutely no crits going on, and that was just over 8,000 with our power score. Now with the suit, I am going to go one further. We're going to bop it all the way down. I didn't even realise I still had this. We've got a level 1 suit. The melee we're going to keep exactly as it is. The ranged, we've got that as well, giving us a grand power score of 925. I've not put any extra melee in, or extra crit should I say, in here with my actual mods. I could have, but I'm going to leave it this time. Obviously if I did, then the damage would go up when we're doing our crits. But seeing as we haven't, we're going to have less crit going on, and we're going to see the difference with the damage. So straight in again, and we're doing 3,600 and something, 3,653. I think that was exactly the same. I hope it was, otherwise I have no idea why it'd be different. But as you can see, it's just doesn't make any difference what your power score is. That's just a game telling you roughly what they believe that piece of equipment is worth. However, you should be looking for your stats, working out what's going to go into your build, bit of survivability, a lot of damage, perks, legendary gear, all the good stuff, and then come in here and test it out. But yeah, hopefully that's helped a few of you out. As always, for all things gaming, for all things Xbox, take care. I'll see you on the next day.